It's Eric Meyer, video number 4 in our series of learning about data acquisition. This will be a short one, about 5 minutes. It's on RPM, and I'm going to show you a couple things that you'll find interesting that you can look into your own data. Okay? First off, we have 3 channels, and we're lucky enough that Dan Capaldo has several to choose from, including oil temperature, including water temperature, including, he doesn't have brake pressure, I apologize, I already looked, battery voltage. Let's see what those look like really quick. Right, way down here, water temperature, kind of makes sense, right? 205 to 209, it's not really doing a lot. Kind of makes sense, right? It moves really slow. Oil temperature, same kind of, oh, look at that, 270, 277, that's pretty hot oil, bro. Here's battery voltage, right? I think you just have this one to prove that your alternator's working properly. That's why we tracked it. And we had an alarm on our dash that if it went below X for like 20 seconds, an alarm would come off and it would tell us our battery is starting to lose overall voltage. So a lot of neat stuff you can do with Motec. Okay, so we're going to get rid of a bunch of these channels, and we're going to keep the RPM. We always want that. And let's do longitudinal. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. So we have 3 channels right now. Okay, RPM. So here we are coming down the front straight. We go to brakes. What's this right here? Quick, what is it? If you answered a heel-toe blip, you're correct. That's what that looks like. Okay, we're going to boogie up through here. We're going to rock up through here. We're going to shift, right? Stay in that same gear. Now we're rocking up here. Rock. Look right here. There's another braking zone. I'm looking right here. And another throttle blip in the RPM. Okay? Are you seeing that? We're also going to look just to confirm that when we're over here in this kink, we're guessing in that kink. If we had a throttle position sensor, we could figure it out. But I'm looking right here, and I'm trying to see if Dan's lifting at all. And these G's say not really. Because if he was going flat, or the RPMs came off, or his throttle position sensor came off, I would say, Dan, how can we go through that kink faster? How can we go through that kink right there, right down here, flat? Oh, I do see something right here. What's this? See that? This is interesting. Do you see where that little dip is right there? It goes flat. That is because there's a moment when Dan is shifting, putting the clutch in, letting the clutch out, shifting, where the car doesn't accelerate. We actually measured this in Daytona, and the quicker you can shift in Daytona, it's worth about 0.2 of a second. You can really shift quickly. Excuse me. No, it was more than that. Let's call it 0.3. It was faster shifting was worth 0.3 around Daytona, because there's minimize that. Does that make sense? Okay, here's what I want to show you. This is very interesting. You'll look for this in your data. Specifically, you have RPM. It's a good reason to have RPM channel. We're almost done with this session. We're coming down the back straight. We go to brakes. Looking at the RPM, we blip the throttle, a heel-toe blip, right? And slow down and take off. Did you see it? Did you see it? What is it? We came down here and we blipped the throttle, right? Here's what we did. We pulled our brake foot off when we were blipping the throttle. We lifted it. As we pivoted our heel, our brake foot came off just a little bit, and that's why these G's went down. And then we zoom back to that normal slope. These little areas right here are lost braking pressure opportunities. It's like you came in and you braked real hard, and you say, I'm going to shift now, so I'm not going to brake as hard. And then you go back to hard braking. Does that make sense? It should, because it's true. This is an area of the track from here to here. Let's see how long it is. Right there. So I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this, and we're going to measure the from here to here. When it came off the brake, it's here to here. And we're going to look up here at the distance, and we're going to say that from right about here at 8,514 feet to 8,578 feet. So what is that? 64 feet. For 64 feet, he chose to be, which is more than half a brake marker, he chose to lift his foot. He didn't choose to leave his foot. This is what people do. This is normal. And only until you start looking at your feet, you're like, shit, I didn't know I did that. So there's your tip. Look at the RPM gauge, right? And look to see if you have those little blips, and you can compare that against your longitudinal G, and you can figure that out. There's your tip of the day. Keep playing around with this stuff. Look for the next video in the near future. Thanks. And get a Track Attack account.